Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout. This is a layout that I completed at a crop that I went to back in October, and I had put together about 26 page kits. I took 4 from my stash, so I ended up going with 30 page kits and ended up doing 22 layouts. This is layout number 11 out of 22. And I was about ready to, get the next layout ready for YouTube. And I started counting, on my phone how many layouts was left. And there was only 10. And I'm like, that only makes 21. Where's that 22nd one? And that's when I noticed that I had skipped this one. So what I'm trying to do is I was trying to upload them in the order that I actually made the layout, and this was probably layout 5 or 6, and it ends up being layout 11 because I kind of skipped over it. So I'm kind of glad that I went back and checked. So when I looked at this page kit, it had a lot of 6x6 pattern papers, and I thought it would be the perfect kit to cut it into strips of 1x6 and kind of make a background across my layout, 6 inches wide. And then I'll also use some of the pattern paper to double mat my photo. So I first matted my photo with some cardstock in red, and now I'm using another piece of that pattern paper, and I didn't glue anything down because I didn't know exactly where I wanted to put those frames, but I knew that I wanted it matted with that blue pattern paper so that it would help it stick out against all that busyness of that pattern paper. Now, usually that background, sometimes I make the pieces 1x6 like I did this time. Sometimes I do 2x6, 3x6. Sometimes one time I used 2 6x6 side by side, and then I took another one and put it over top. So there's so many ways that you can use the same idea but end up with totally different layouts. Now, when I do that sort of pattern, I like to put either a piece of pattern paper or a cardstock, or in this case I used a piece of washi tape, and I put it at the top and the bottom. It kind of says, the pattern paper kind of begins and stops here. Now, I also had a tag in this page kit that said love, and then I used some of our digital files with the frames, and I like using 2 or 3 of them, all together, and then it's a great place to do some embellishment clustering. And I don't have anything glued down as of yet. I'm just going to play a little bit, but I don't usually wait too long. Once I figure out, okay, this is where I'm going to go, I usually start sticking everything down. I find if I go too far into the process, then all of a sudden it's harder for me to glue everything down exactly where it was. Not that it matters that much, but I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but you'll, put something together and it's just perfect. And then when you take everything off to glue it back down, you just cannot get it that perfect way that you had it at the beginning. So to try to prevent that, I try to, fairly quickly start gluing everything down. So I'm like, okay, I'm at that spot. Everything is kind of moving around. So I'm going to take one cluster and I'm going to glue it down even before I do the pattern paper, because at this point, if I touch that pattern paper, all those embellishment clusters are going to move. So I'm going to glue down that first embellishment cluster, and then I'm going to glue that pattern paper down, because as you can tell, the rest of the embellishments, all I had to move was the top, and then it doesn't move. Some people, what they'll do is they'll take staplers and like a long reed stapler, and they will staple things into place. I never really got into that. I like my ATG gun, and I just glue everything down. So while I'm just gluing that down together, I just want to address something. I can't tell you how many people have left comments on YouTube, and I've had people message me like on Messenger, like PM me. I've had emails. Just for some reason, when I film with my broken arm, my right hand looks super dark, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the contrast with my white cast. I had another comment again yesterday asking me if the circulation in my hand was okay, because my hand doesn't look very healthy. And when I look at it in person, it's okay. So I don't know if it's the lighting, because the cast causes a shadow. I will say this: my hand is so dry. Like the skin on my hands, on this specific hand, is constantly peeling. I must put cream on it about 20 times a day, and it's still super dry. But the good news is the countdown has begun. 4 more sleepies, and I'm hoping that this cast is off for good. Now, when I went to see him 3 weeks ago, he said, on December 16th, come here first, we'll take your cast off, then you can go to x-ray, then come back and see me. So I'm hoping that it means that the cast is off for good. On Wednesday, it'll be 6 weeks exactly, and they never had to take my cast off. Like, I still have the original cast that they put on in the ER, and the ortho doctor told me that doesn't happen very often. Most times they have to change the cast. And the problem with changing the cast is, when they take the cast off and put another one, they risk the chance of moving your bone, because my bone wasn't just cracked, like it literally was separated. They had to reset it. So the least amount of time that it is moved is better. So that's the good news. So I hope that kind of relieves my hand has good temperature. It's warm, it's not cold. But apart from that, I'm doing okay. I'm just looking forward to getting this thing off in a few days. And that's it. That's going to complete layout 11 out of 22. And just a quick reminder, my digital prints are still on for 50% off. And there is some new Christmas ones available, just posted yesterday. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.